Hi, everyone. Welcome to Domain Sherpa. We've got an incredible episode coming up today. This is the first episode of Sherpa Sports, which we're also going to publish on sportspodcast.com, as well as DomainSherpa.com, YouTube, Apple, Google Play, and all our other usual outlets. Like we say on Down the Rabbit Hole, as all roads lead to domains, domains lead to everything else. And today, my guest is none other than Kris Jenkins, the former Villanova basketball player who hit the game-winning shot in the 2016 National Championship game at the buzzer to win the title for Villanova. It's one of the most iconic moments in college basketball history. And with the explosion of NFTs and the recent announcement of several new NFT platforms focused on sports collectibles, we talk about how his moment could be monetized on those platforms and made more accessible to fans. We also talk about Kris's future plans, the Villanova culture. He also lets us know what he thinks about the upcoming Villanova season and who he's pulling for in the NBA playoffs. All of this is coming up right now here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So V's up.
It don't matter what you say, ain't no way that you're messing with my team today. It don't matter what you do, I will not lose.
What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka Jay On, the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today is a special show that I could not be more excited about. As you know, because I've mentioned it on the show before, I've got sportspodcast.com. And today is actually our first sports themed show, which we're going to publish on the Sports Podcast site, as well as Domain Sherpa, YouTube, Apple, all the other usual outlets. As we say here on Domain Sherpa, all roads lead to domains. And as we explain on the Down the Rabbit Hole series, our work with domains leads us into different areas and topics all the time, including those under the umbrella of digital assets, especially crypto and NFTs. Plus, for those of you who know, I'm a huge sports fan. I'm all Philly all day. And as a Villanova alum, I'm a huge fan of Nova Sports and especially Nova Hoops. And also a shout out to Florida Gators. So with no further ado, today my guest on the show is none other than Kris Jenkins, Villanova Wildcat, who hit, in my opinion, in the opinion of many, many people, the most iconic shot in the history of college basketball. So let that sink in for a minute. The most iconic shot in the history of the sport, Craig. So for those of you who don't know, Kris, obviously basketball player, played his college ball at Villanova, key player on the 2016 national championship team. As mentioned, he hit the shot to win the championship on that fateful day, that fateful evening in April. And now Kris is involved in player development at Villanova while also engaged in some entrepreneurial ventures. So today we're going to talk about some of that current work and those things. We're also going to talk about the shot in relation to NFTs. And with this real explosion in sports collectibles and NFTs happening right now, new platforms being announced literally on the daily and introduced on what seems to be a daily basis, backed by some of the biggest names and some, in some cases, on some of the best domains in the world, such as candy.com. See, I told you I was all going to tie back to our mission statement of domains. All roads lead to domains. So with that, Kris, man, thank you and welcome to the show, bro.
Man, I'm so honored. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to just have a great conversation and learn a lot myself.
All right, man. Oh, that's definitely what's up. So with that, so what's really good? I know you're a busy guy, and again, appreciate you taking this time out. We on the weekend right now, so I know it's been kind of crazy. But what do you got going on? Like, where are you spending your time? Like, the summer. What are you up to right now?
Oh man, like you mentioned earlier, I was helping out at Nova with player development stuff, and I was able to, because I had an injury that a lot of people don't know about. I got hurt playing in Europe, and I hurt my hip really bad. And it sidelined me for a couple of years because of just how bad the injury was.
Yeah.
And when I took that position at Nova, I was able to use that to not only give back to a university and to some players, but they were also able to help me in my recovery process and my rehab and allow me to get back in a spot where I'm deciding on if I can play at a professional level again. So
sure.
I'm at the crossroads and continuing to rehab, continuing to work out and train. And in the next month and a half, 2 months, I'll see where my body is and I'll be able to see like, okay, I can still play basketball, or, it's just time to close that chapter of playing and
sure.
move forward.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's crazy. And I know that's one of those things, man, success and, getting to, I mean, look, you've already played at the highest level. I know you've been at camps for NBA teams and you played professionally overseas. And again, and what you did at Nova, I mean, that is written in the history books, right? So, and it's tough, man. I mean, injuries, I know some folks who have been professional athletes and, it's what's crazy to me is you guys have been through a lifetime of experiences, whether or not like you end up playing and, continuing to play at that level. And that's what it do, or you go and, you go to coach or whatever else you get into. I mean, already at such a young age, man, you guys have been through so much. That's just crazy to me. And it's like, and even now you're like, yeah, I'm at the, kind of figuring out like sort of the next phase. And it's like, you're in like your, mid 20s, man, and have already like been through it, and yeah, man. And I think it's all good either way, right? I mean, it's one of those things where, look, I mean, I know it's got to be tough, especially when your body is like, you're hoping that you can get it right and kind of, and there's, timing and all sorts of different things that go into that. But man, God bless, good luck, obviously, on all of that. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see, sort of which way you end up going. I mean, I think no matter what, you're going to be all good. It's like, and I just think it's, it's just awesome that you're able to even kind of still be in the mix like that and haven't already been through what you've been through. You know what I mean? So that's all good. And, so with that, so the player development at Nova. So if you end up not playing, like, you decide, all right, it's, that's not the fit. So is it coaching? Is it training? Is it maybe even more of a business? Because I see guys like James Jones, ex-players, Elton Brand, who've become very successful GMs in the NBA. And I think for you, I don't know you, right? But like, I've seen you enough on stuff that I feel like I kind of know you, and you always seem to have this really big personality and like, like kind of that dude. So,
Right.
Is that even something that interests you going forward, like long term? I mean, what do you think?
Nah, I've definitely thought about that. I've definitely done TV stuff. I've definitely talked to other coaches about coaching to just see, where I would want to go. And I think I'm more so leaning towards, like, if I can't ever play basketball again or decide not to, I think I'm more so leaning towards at least starting out in entrepreneurship and just trying to parlay and use relationships to, guide my life and, move that way, because I feel like like you said, I have a pretty good personality. I'm a very, very good dude, stand-up guy. I'm honest. But so I think that, going entrepreneurship is something that could bode well for me. So,
yeah.
But you want to know who I really look up to stuff like that?
Okay.
I really idolize Magic Johnson. Like, I really want to be able to do whatever I want to. Like, if I want to go and coach, like for him, it was going and working in the front office for a year and a half and realizing, like, hey, I don't want to do this. So I kind of want to, have that template and have that guideline for success. It's like, we only live here on earth for, a short period of time. So I definitely want to be doing the things that I love. Playing basketball is something that I love. So I've been fortunate enough to do that. And I'd be crazy to give that up and pursue something else. So I'm gonna definitely try to pursue that.
Yep.
And then see.
Well, and I think, without a doubt. I mean, look, Magic, I mean, when he did the front office thing, it was kind of not exactly his thing. I mean, hey, it's all good. He's like, but he's tampering. He just doesn't, because he's in the mix, man.
What he do now? He working out on yachts. I may not work on a yacht, but I can work out in a hotel pool by the beach or something.
But I mean, hey, man, but his ownership interest in different sports, Dodgers, things like that, like all his real estate and other types of ventures and things that, he's been into. I mean, no, without a doubt. I mean, I think that he's somebody that we all could aspire to try to be like. And, and the way he's done a lot of things the right way and, just gotten his, it's like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Exactly. He was able to use his basketball knowledge and fame, because it wasn't just fame, it's the basketball knowledge that he possessed. And he parlayed that and used that to build these strong relationships that allow him to be in a position that he's in. It's all about his business moves and his relationships. Yeah. Because he was able to use his relationships. And like you said, his relationship is so great with the Lakers. Think about that. He took a job and quit a year and a half into the job, and they still love him.
Oh yeah, man. He ain't going anywhere.
Like they love him. They'll never treat him any different. And like any other person in any other job, I feel like that company or those people would look like you never come back around.
No, and you're right, man. And relationships and business and all that are so key, because it's like, having access to the right people, having people feel the right way about you, ultimately, you know, is going to drive a lot of stuff when, you know, you're trying to make things happen and, you know, kind of put the dots together and, you know, do things and get things done. So I'm with you, man. I think that is absolutely dope. And I would agree. I mean, I think he's up there for a lot of folks, myself included. And, you know, man, Magic, man, you know, for sure.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I dig it, man. Well, and I think that, you know, Villanova, you know, I think that at a minimum, right, you've got this background too. I mean, you know, you're a Villanova grad, man. It's funny. I like, you know, one of my buddies, like, you know, he always gives me a hard time. He's like, you know, because I'm always talking about how I went to Nova, you know, because we're proud of it. You know, we think it really helped,
absolutely.
you know,
And we
helped us,
should be proud of it.
yeah, build a foundation. He's like, you know, and, you know, and he's like, you know, we're just talking about something. And it was like some joke about, oh, and did you mention, you know, you're a Nova grad? Like, cause it's like, of course I, you know, of course I, he's like, as if I wouldn't have, cause I always am saying it. I mean, actually, we were at my, I almost said grandfather, but my father-in-law's house just the other, like earlier today. You know, my one son's wearing his Villanova basketball shirt. My kid's wearing shorts. I got the shorts on. You know what I mean? We're always repping Nova, man.
Hey, man.
And
it's in us, man. It's in the blood.
no doubt.
It's in the blood, man.
So you think that, so the Nova thing, we'll talk a little bit about that too. I mean, I think just education wise provides a great foundation, alumni, school, all that kind of stuff. I mean, and what you guys have done with the program, I mean, dude, like, you know, so, you know, I look at it. So I graduated back in 99, right? So I'm an old head, right? So I was there when Kerry Kittles was still playing for a little bit, right? And then I saw the, you know, the Randy Foy, you know, Alan Ray, Jason Frazier, Curtis Sumner, like, you know, that crew come through and, you know, they were, I mean, I think that bullshit, sorry, pardon my language, called on Alan Ray. You know what I mean? Like,
was horrible,
right? And you know, to making it to the Final Four, then saw Scotty Reynolds and them do it. And but you guys did it, you know. And I mean, it was one of those things. Like at a small school like Villanova, I mean, and credit obviously, huge shout out to Jay Wright. I mean, he is the dude. And you know, the program that he built. But like, you know, you guys in 16, I mean, that run changed. I mean, it went from like, look at Gonzaga, man. Gonzaga is a great program, but they still have to get over that hump, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like nobody could beat them. Although I knew Baylor was legit, and you know, shout out to this year's Nova squad for hanging like they did in that game because they were in that and that team. We saw it the year before when they beat us. I mean, they're good, right? And
absolutely.
You know, so getting over that hump, and I'll even say this too from a skill standpoint, man. I mean, you were one of the first out there, like, you know, as a big man shooting from the NBA range in college games, dude. People weren't necessarily, now everybody wants to be Steph Curry and Trae Young, but like people weren't, especially big men weren't Ice Trae like you know what I mean? So it's like,
Coach, right. It was just the offense and the confidence, and it was just everything about what he taught us. It was just like, look, man, I brought you here because of, you know what I mean, your strengths. And I felt like we could put the Villanova basketball imprint on, you know, all the guys that we bring here. But we bring all of you guys here for your strengths. So if you don't play to your strengths, what are we doing? Yeah. So that's just kind of how that approach was. Like, look, I can shoot from half court. It spaces the floor for everybody. So let me shoot from half court.
Yeah. But I'm saying, man, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that was like, you were one of the first big dudes in college, I felt like, and maybe it's because I watch more Nova than I watch just everybody else, but man, you know, and that was like, you know, that's like the new wave. Now everybody's shooting, you know what I mean? And
everybody 5 out, 4 guards.
I mean, they're shooting like, you know, and I mean, look, Trae Young's a special talent too, but he's shooting from the logo, pointing at it after his shots go up. And I'm a Sixers fan, man. So that was really rough for me, the way that, you know, that series played out. I mean, but, you know, shout outs to Trae Young, man. I mean,
shout out to Trae. But I got a bone to pick with some Sixers fans. So I got to go here with you because you just told me you were the Sixers fan. Are you one of those Sixers fans that always be putting out the bad energy that Joel Embiid is going to be hurt or always is hurt?
Nah, man. Embiid's my dude, man. Here's the thing. I'm more of like, look, you know, when it comes, I'm not a typical Philly fan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Philly sports fan, but I'm not like, you know, bang, bird gang, like all that kind of talk where it's so negative. Because at the end of the day, man, look, the difference between winning at the professional level is a razor thin margin. You know what I'm saying? And if you can win, and at the collegiate level, look, how many teams? There's 300 or whatever teams that ultimately are playing for, you know, a championship. This is what is so special about what you guys were able to accomplish, you know, not just once, but twice, you know, in 3 years. And I still believe we probably, you know, you guys have a chance to win in that in between year if they don't, that bullshit with Spellman and they don't end up putting him on, you know, whatever, like, you know, that whole thing.
The NCAA knew what they were doing, man.
You know,
they knew what they were doing.
I mean, I know for you too, you got to see, your brother win his championship that year. So that was probably, obviously, I mean, you were on TV like cheering for
Yeah.
him at the game, man. So that was a good thing. But honestly, that could have been you guys again. You know what I mean?
No,
So it's like,
absolutely. That was one of those things where, like, okay, if I can't win it, then obviously there's only one person to cheer for.
Yeah,
But if I was playing or we had a chance, like to go and win, it would have been the same thing as the first year. Like, hey, I'll holler at you after the game.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, I'm with it. No, when it comes to like I said, man, so I appreciate what it takes to win. I think at the end of the day, man, these guys are doing their best, everybody from the front office down to the coaching, and it's all that. Like, unless there's something funky which gives you a reason to truly feel like, hey, as a fan, I can't necessarily like, kind of buy into this type of thing. But nah, man, Embiid's like he's the dude. He's a once in a lifetime kind of big man, with his range and all that kind of stuff, and like his foul shooting and everything else. And that torn meniscus, man. I mean, that definitely, unfortunately took a step off of him. And and Simmons had some challenges. He got in his head too much about shooting and scoring and free throw shooting. It's like, and Harris also needed to probably be a bit more aggressive. But it's like, man, in the flow of the game, it's hard. And Atlanta had that vibe, dude. I mean, that's the thing. They were playing like I read an article which I thought really summed it up, that they were playing unbothered. You know what I mean? They're in New York, they're in the Garden, playing like they're playing, like in the playground or in their own gym. Trey, like, people want to talk smack on dude, but man, like his command of the ball, the offense, obviously his shooting, like, and just his poise is really incredible, man. And you got to have that at that level. And sometimes you get in that rhythm and it's injuries and it's other things. And sometimes it all clicks and works and other times it doesn't. You know what I mean? So I'm good, man. I think at the end of the day, it's all about just, you support your team because that's what it is. And if you want to be fair weather and negative all the time, then people like that are probably negative all the time about everything. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
can't be around those people.
Nah, man. Nah, bad energy, man. That's bad.
Can't have that bad energy.
All right, so let's segue then into something. So, talking about like, the squad that you had and about the team that y'all put together for 16. So your boy Josh Hart, I mentioned this, I think, in the email where he just recently bought in on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I don't know. Are you messing with any of this NFT stuff at all? Are you familiar with any of that? Like,
I'm not familiar with it, but I've been trying to learn information about it.
Yeah.
So that I can use it for myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Get money.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
All right, cool, man. We back from a little break. And as I was discussing a little bit and explaining some of what the NFT stuff is all about, Kris had to put himself in a different locale. And so we're all good. You outside now, man, just chilling.
Hey, man, got some trees behind me. Good Mother Nature.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. So anyway, so what I was saying is I'm not the most technical person on this stuff, but effectively, these NFTs are unique, like digital collectibles recorded on the blockchain. So, that's how they're, authenticated. And I don't want to get into super technical conversation about it, but, like Top Shots, for example, are like digital basketball cards, but it's not just an image now. It can be like a clip. So you might have a LeBron James dunk, a LaMelo Ball steal, and they'll only put out so many. So they might put out 100 of one thing and 1,000 of another. So the ones that they put out less of are more rare. So they have more value and that kind of thing. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club is a whole nother level because it's these apes. They made 10,000 of them and they're all kind of cool, doing wacky stuff. They're really drawn really well. And people use them for their social media avatars to let kind of people sort of flex a little like, hey, I'm down with the BAYC, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'll send you some stuff offline, man, kind of get you hip to it. Cause it's like, and it's, people are investing in them, but there's some community around it. Tyrese Halliburton, LaMelo Ball, who I just mentioned, they bought Bored Apes. Waka Flocka bought an ape. Snoop Dogg was talking about buying an ape. And there's the more OG digital collectible NFT, which is the the CryptoPunks. Jay-Z just changed his Instagram avatar to a CryptoPunk, and he's also dropping Reasonable Doubt, his classic album, as an NFT, which will probably auction for millions of dollars, because they'll do that with some additional perks and other kind of stuff as well. So this is a really good segue then into kind of talking about the shot and how, there's probably some really cool opportunity for you, to leverage that if it's something you want to do, So bringing it back to hoops, I just, for the folks, obviously everybody knows, but for anybody who doesn't, setting the stage, national championship 2016, April 4th, Energy Stadium, Houston, Texas. Marcus Page hits a circus 3-point shot to tie it up at 74-74. There's 4.7 seconds on the clock. Oh, wait, I'm actually wearing the shirt.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
It shows the play.
Come on, baby. Come through, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? You inbounds the ball to Arch. He does the draw, Chef who sets the pick. You trail behind him. He throws it back to you. You shoot the shot. The buzzer goes off. Jay Wright says bang. And the rest is history, man. I mean, it's like, and for me, I mean, like I said, I think when you hit a buzzer beater shot to win the title, you can't, that's it. That's what every kid in his backyard, in his driveway, in the gym shooting wants to do, right? Wants to hit that shot. And you, my dude, did that. You know what I'm saying? And that is just crazy. You know what I mean? So like, to me, when I've had this kind of argument with people talking about the Leitner shot in 92, even Jalen Suggs for Zaga, like last year when he hit that shot, I'm like, to me, they still don't compare. I mean, Leitner maybe because it's kind of classic, it's old school, but Suggs, Gonzaga didn't even win the title. So to me, it's like, you might as well hit a buzzer beater in the regular season, man. That doesn't in the moment, it's amazing. And, he's up on the table, and no doubt I'd be doing the same thing. But when you look at like the actual impact on the season, they didn't get the trophy. You know what I mean? Shout out to them, but so
not only did they not get the trophy, but they didn't really have no fans. So that takes away from it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Not to add salt to their wound, but
yeah. Well, look, so post-production, my brother Billy, he's going to throw up a photo or two. We'll even see if we can throw in the clip right now. We'll just show it. So, we'll bounce for a second and come right back in. But like, just so everybody could see it.
4.7 seconds. Villanova trying to go length of the court with Archie Diacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions with Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer. Jim, they're going to check it. I thought it was good live, but how about those onions?
But I think you're absolutely right, man. Suggs hits that shot. He's jumping up on a table for the cameras. But but it's friends and family barely in the arena, right? You hit that thing. Stadium. The shot you hit, and again, Jay Wright, cool as ice, man. He's just like bang, and then like the whole thing. By the way, I have that shirt too. I didn't want to wear that because I didn't want to be that big of a fanboy on here. But like, I got the shirt with you shooting. It says bang. You know what I'm saying?
And that's love, man. I appreciate
oh man, you know what it is, man. And and then the whole place goes absolutely bananas. And, you see Raleigh Massimino and with Mike Fratello and like all those guys. This is like, this is a classic clip. And what's even also was just as crazy was when they showed everybody back at Nova, in wherever they were at. I think they were like at I don't know if it was the Oreo or wherever, Bartley or wherever they were all. No, they were in the gym. Yeah,
right? In the pavilion.
Oh, yeah. They were in the pavilion. So, and then the pavilion goes completely apeshit. And it was just like, dude, we were wilding out. I wasn't at the game. We had plenty of friends that were. I was like, I wish I went, man. I was checking.
You should have bounced down to H-Town one time.
I know, man. And it's crazy, man. And like I said, so at the end of the day, so that to me is just, was the moment. And I think now when we get into what's going on with NFTs, right? So you've got two platforms that just recently dropped. You got Candy.com. Which is Fanatics, right? So that's the biggest apparel company now. They bought a collectible memorabilia autograph type business a few years ago based in Fort Lauderdale. And I don't know if they're going to combine this together. I know some folks who work there. They're actually based here kind of local near Jacksonville where I'm at. But you got Gary V, Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital. They're all involved. It's a domain name. Candy.com is one of the best domain names in the world. We actually know the dude. It was owned by Rick Schwartz, who's the domain king. We got to get him on the show soon. But people who know domains know Rick is like an OG. Our boy Andrew Miller was involved in getting Fanatics that domain. and he's been a guest on the show a lot too. So it's like they got them that candy.com domain that now is this digital sports collectible platform that they haven't rolled any product out yet. But, I think it's going to be the idea of trying to figure out how to take these athlete moments and collectibles, almost like digital autographs and other sort of things, and then combine them together for, people to be able to buy, auction, like, kind of, do all that kind of stuff. I mean, shoot, you talk about collectibles up here, man. This is from the old floor at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse or whatever, like back before, like I told you, I'm an old head.
Wow.
That's a piece of the floor from, 96 when, Steve Lapis was the coach back then. And, this was like, this was a while ago. But,
that's some history right there.
Oh, yeah, man. And that's what I'm saying. And actually, I don't know if you can see, I got Westbrook's. I got a signed Westbrook right there, which is because, he's Nova and
that big Nova guy.
Yeah, man, so it's all good. And but imagine taking things like this and instead of it being like, there might be a physical representation, but there could also be, the digital aspects too. So it's like the clip of the shot, a photo, I think some of it comes down to who owns the rights to what, so March Madness is the video is at CBS. I know that. So there's another platform that also dropped under the domain we.new. So it's we.new. So it's not even a .com, which is kind of interesting because on our show, we talk about domain names a lot. And, .com are like kind of the key, those are the king, like the .com domains are always the best. But, different new, especially a lot of like sort of crypto and newer ventures are willing to come out on some of these other domain names. So if you type in we.new, it'll bring up their thing. And so this one has got partnered up with like Time Magazine and IMG and Wimbledon and Universal Music Group. And so their whole thing is the same kind of thing. They're leading off their first sports moment that they're doing is Andy Murray when he won Wimbledon, right? So they're basically taking his big win of Wimbledon. They're breaking it down into these 5 collectibles and they're doing like 100 of one, 50 of another, 20, 10. And then there's like one sort of call it like almost like a grand prize. And that involves like, I think even playing like a round, I was going to say a round of tennis. I'm not a tennis guy. So I'm tennis match, right? So play a set with him. And then, there's a signed thing that you get, but you also get like this clip online that's like unique to what you get. And they're going to auction these off, man. They'll probably sell for millions of dollars, dude, And
that sounds crazy. Hey, I still got my game worn national championship shoes. Might gotta get some NFTs with those.
That's what I'm saying. But that's my point, right? So there's some combination of like access. Maybe they get to get in the gym and shoot around with you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
As well,
an autograph frame, picture of the shot, everything.
That's what I'm saying, right? And that's where it'll be. And we'll talk offline. I'll get you people up on some of this kind of stuff. So it's all good. And because I think it'll be the kind of thing where, again, you've got something that very few people have. Like you technically, you don't own the footage, but you own the moment, right? And and you're still very much in the mix, man. Like you're around, you're doing your thing. Like you're accessible. People like, you know what I mean? There's like, like with everything, it's like a cool, and I don't know what the wave is. I just know we're in the middle of a wave, right? So it's like some of those details are a little outside of, we just talk about it, but we're invested in NFTs, we're invested in crypto and all that kind of stuff. But so that's why this stuff is super unique to me. I mean, and even Universal, who is, Universal Group, which is, one of the folks that are involved in this we.new, they just recently bought universal.com. Actually, Andrew Miller, who I just mentioned, he helped broker the deal to get them universal.com, which is, we see Domain Sherpa Sports, man. We still talking domain names up in here, everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So anyway, but like I said, man, I think it's going to create really unique opportunities to like leverage those kinds of things. And I think for you, that's going to be really cool. I think there's no doubt that, there's definitely a conversation for you and your people to have with some folks to see how you can, kind of take advantage of that and, monetize that moment more, cause it's like, because again, it's special. And anybody who's a college basketball fan, obviously the Villanova fans, man, like, that it means a lot. And if you can, then put that in the way these networks or not networks, platforms are going to monetize that stuff, the technical elements, how they auction it off. These guys kind of know what's up. Beeple, who's involved in the we.new, is the guy who sold his like 14 years of artwork for $60 million. It's at Christie's auction house recently. So it's like, and he's involved in that new platform that's got the Andy Murray thing. And obviously if it's Andy Murray and Wimbledon and big names, man. I mean, it's a brave new world, man.
Oh,
so
that's super legit right there, man. Wow.
So it's going to be cool, man. And again, I think it's going to be neat. And, yeah, so I think ultimately it's just, and just as we kind of go, analog to digital, and there's also these new, I think, trends of like, people having better access to athletes and artists and, like celebrities than they've ever had, right? Through digital and these kinds of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit, a couple of years ago, if I want to get you on the podcast, I got to like fly you somewhere. I got to fly somewhere. It can't just be jumping online. And the next thing you know, we got some really cool content. You know what I mean?
Right,
So it's
absolutely, man.
so yeah, so that's what's up, man. So, well, all good, man. And I appreciate taking the time. Let's take a couple more minutes. I mean, you got any other thoughts as far as like, so the upcoming Villanova season? I mean, you think we're going to be good? What do you think? Excited? I mean,
Yeah. Obviously, I have high expectations for the program just because of how the standards that we followed and set. So I kind of just expect them to make a Final Four run. Like Final Four run with the team that we got coming back. I know we're minus J-Rob this year, but
yeah.
We got everybody coming back, and we got some new guys stepping in. So I expect,
and Colin getting another run at it, and and the recruits, man. I don't know a ton about him. The recruiting thing for me, I mean, I kind of keep an ear out, but I try not to get too kind of caught up in that stuff because you realize, man, like if you're, for you're in the mix, like that's like kind of part of your job. For me, I'm like I'm an old dude. I don't necessarily need to know what's going on with these 17 and 16-year-old kids, but recruiting is crazy now. You know what I mean? Because they're like,
man,
I mean, I got
a Greens. Like it's so different now from when I was there, and just even like I'm pretty sure the guys like Randy Foy and Alan Ray, and even Kerry Kittles and those guys, they probably look at recruiting now like, man, kids get to take pictures in the uniforms. They're on green. They get green screen on their visits, and it's just the way of the time. So you either keep times or you get left behind.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Well, that's another reason why I think, Jay, having you around in the program, right? I mean, it's like people like you, I mean, players like yourself, but people also like you a lot, right? So, and you have a lot of street cred and just, from having played and been successful and all that kind of stuff and been through it, that it's like, I mean, those, I would imagine that, that would play well with some of these prospects and recruits and stuff. And, so are you involved in any of that kind of process at the moment, or is that something that maybe comes down the road, or what do you think?
I mean, any type of on-road recruiting or anything like that, that's for the coaching staff and those guys. Coach Wright, recently promoted associate head coach George Hakovich.
Yeah, I saw that.
Coach Mike Nardi.
And, all right, yeah.
And Dwayne Anderson too. The great former Villanova basketball player. So well, that's all up their alley.
Yeah, well, you talk about clips and moments too. I mean, I still remember what do you call it? Anderson's that steal from behind. I mean, that hustle play.
UCLA, right?
Dude, that was crazy, man.
Stokes wants another three. Not this time. Collison will take it to the other end. And look at the hustle there. He was easing his way down court, and Anderson came from behind Villanova. Backflow defense, sprinting and just laying out to knock that away from Darren Collison and sliding to it. That's this little slip and slide to get the ball.
That is probably the biggest symbol of what Villanova basketball is.
Yeah.
That play by Dwayne Anderson. Like anybody that knows anything about Villanova basketball in the program, they know that play that Dwayne Anderson made in that moment, considering the time and the score, that is what it means to be a Villanova basketball player. Yeah. No question.
Playing the right way, playing hard all the time, till the buzzer.
Every second you're on the court. If we're on the court, we're trying to win because we know you're trying to embarrass us. Yeah. So we're going to embarrass you before you get a chance to do it to us. That's it. That's the way of the sports world, man. That's
I mean, and absolutely. We try to teach our kids, I coach my kids at flag football, a little bit of basketball, and, we've done pretty well. And, I mean, we've had our flag football kids and just a little humble. I don't even know if it's a humble brag, but like the little kids won like an Under Armour national championship for flag, And
that's lit, man. Listen, winning championships at any level is not easy.
Yeah. Well, and,
get them.
Oh, no. And exactly. And, so we've, but when we get out there, we try and teach our kids the same thing, like, cause we've lost games too, you know what I mean? We've been on the wrong side of big losses. We've been on the right side of big wins. And no matter what it is, it's like, you want to have them always trying to do the right thing. Cause at the end of the day, especially with these young kids, it's like, you want them to be evolving, getting better as players, but growing as people. And it's like, and, and I think people lose sight, we see some of these dads freaking out and crying and whining about different things, or just being, jerks out there. And it's like, look, man, that's not the way, that's not teaching these kids the real values to teach them to be, kind of where they will be successful long-term, and, so, we try to kind of do that same thing. And Jay Wright, for me personally, is one of those guys, if not the guy, that embodies like the right, no pun intended, but the right way to do things,
Man, listen, absolutely, man. Going to Villanova, playing for Coach Wright, it was definitely a challenge basketball wise, but like just to be around him as a person and the people at the university, I mean, it was kind of a no brainer. I felt like wherever I went for basketball, I was going to do what I needed to do. Like that's basketball. I've been doing that my entire life. But to be around him and to build those relationships that I still use today and speak with, communicate with those people still to this day. I know a lot of former players that don't really go back to their universities.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy and fortunate that Villanova is not a place like that. And everybody just shows respect, and everybody's just good people. At the end of the day, man, that's really what it's all about. All the values and everything that I cherish and hold dear to my heart, I learned through a sports coach at some point, whether it was little league or middle school, high school, even college, collegiately or professionally. Like, I learned how to be on time from sports. I learned how to respect other people that don't look like me through sports. And that's just one of those things that, like, man, it's crazy the people you meet, the relationships you build through sports. Like, sports is one of the only things where you can meet a stranger and in a couple weeks, couple months, y'all could be best friends or brothers just because of the things that y'all went through those couple weeks.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. No, and I think that's well said, and I think it's great. I mean, and it's cool because look, you're there. I'm an outside looking in. You know what I mean? And I've had an opportunity to talk to some, Whitey Rigby, and I bumped into him at an alumni event, and we chatted for a bit right after we won in, maybe it was right after the 18 championship, and but it's like all the insight and info. I mean, and hearing it from you, man. I mean, that's it. Like, it's like, stamp it, man. And that's great to hear, man. And it's awesome, man. I'm sure it'll serve you well. So that's definitely what's up, man. All right, well, we're running up on time, but last question, I guess, is, so NBA playoffs, man. What do you think? Who's winning the chip, man? Is Bridges gonna get one? Is it happening? What's happening?
Come on, you know I'm rocking. I'm biased. I'm biased, man. So you know who I'm taking.
Yeah.
I gotta take my guy, Mikal Bridges, man.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Man, he's gonna be one of the few people in the history of all of sports to have 2 college championships and be an NBA champion.
Yeah, man. Oh, I hope so.
I want
man.
that for my guy, man. I think he deserved that. He worked hard for that. Not many people remember when he came to Villanova as a skinny kid and had the red shirt because there was no room for him to get on the court.
Yeah.
And now he's getting ready to be $100 million man in his next contract, and hopefully with 2 national championships and an NBA championship.
With it. What happens if Dante doesn't get hurt and he's playing and it's Bucks Suns? What do you do, man?
Man, that'll be tough.
I won't make you go there. You don't have to go there.
I mean, if I did have to go there, I probably would have been like, okay, I knew Kill a year longer than I know Dante. So if I had to pick, that's who I would pick.
All right, fair enough. Hey, man, that's a good way of looking at it, man. So, all right, well, let's do this. I'm gonna shut the recording down now. So, but look, man, I appreciate so much you taking the time to be on here. I mean, this was a great conversation. I'm excited to see what happens with you next. And like I said, I'm gonna holler at your peoples and kind of share some of this info about some of these things, and so you can see what's good, and we'll go from there and see what's up. And like I said, man, we'll just keep an eye out and see what's up. And so thank you so much for being on the show today, man. That's definitely what's up. This was great for me. And this is like a bucket list thing for me, man. So I appreciate it.
Man, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being patient, even though I was going through some technical difficulties over here. That usually don't happen. I'm usually on point and on time and on schedule with my things because, as you know, I learned it from a great program that's no nonsense. So I'm usually on point with things like that. So thank you again. I'm sorry for that. And
no, hey, man,
having me, man. I'm honored.
No. Dude, it was like a couple minutes later than we thought we were going to jump on, but at the end of the day, it all worked out great. So I'm going to say thanks to the audience. I'll shut the recording down. Hang on for 1 sec. We'll chop it up for a second post thing here. But and then with that, I want to say a huge thank you to the audience. As I say it on every show, without y'all, there's no us doing this here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you hit us, comments, and all that good stuff. Let us know what's up. And we'll catch you all next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. V's up.
G's up, baby.